Hey everybody, this is Diana Keuilian, the recipe hacker, and I have Jason Phillips with me again, the nutrition coach.
I survived, apparently last time, being around the shrimp.
Barely.
So we're gonna try to kill me again today.
Barely. If you were watching us last time, I did bring out shrimp, and apparently he's highly allergic. So today we're gonna do something that Jason actually really enjoys.
Not that I don't enjoy shrimp, like I really do enjoy shrimp, and you learn the story like off camera.
Yeah.
But I'm just happy
You
it
enjoy
survived.
the
I made it through
swelling
the day.
and the...
Yeah, you know, it's part of the process.
The suffocation.
The suffocation is probably my favorite.
Okay, awesome. So last time we were cooking together, Jason was telling me that he makes a lot of flank steak.
I do.
And Jason, you are really into the nutrition and into the macros, which I really enjoyed learning from you last time. And I'm excited for you to talk to us about like what is it that you love about flank steak, and why would you recommend that someone choose flank steak over another protein?
So I like red meat in general, and
Okay.
I think that red meat's gotten a really bad rap.
Okay.
It's crazy, like lately meat has a bad rap,
Right.
apparently, from that crazy documentary.
Yes,
the whole
which
vegan
I have yet to
movement.
watch.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet either, but
Okay.
I've heard some really outrageous claims.
Okay.
And I've seen some of like the science, and it's very questionable. But all that aside, red meat gets a bad rap. One of the things
Okay.
we talked about last time is like the omega ratio in the fats of
Right.
meats. And so a lot of people are like, well, chicken's super healthy because it's low fat. But
Sure.
the thing about the fats in chicken, it's primarily omega-6. And
Okay.
so there's pro-inflammatory, right, which is omega-6, and there's
Right.
anti-inflammatory, which is omega-3.
And so we talked about the fish has a lot of the
Fish,
omega-3s.
Yeah, so salmon
flax.
was like the superfood,
Yes.
right? And the flax that we use in those recipes. So obviously the red meat, the fats found in here, it's not just omega-3, but it's a
Okay.
much better ratio, right?
So-
You're not getting only omega-6 fats with the red meat.
There is omega-3 in flank steak.
a little bit,
Okay.
but less omega-6, so it's more diverse, a little
Okay.
more balanced.
Okay.
Also, amino acid structure. So you're getting a very complete amino acid sequence.
Okay.
And the bioavailability of red meat is very high. So it's a lot of people that rely on one protein source, be it chicken, even if it's fish, right?
Yeah.
You're getting a certain range of amino acids, certain spectrum of amino acids.
Sure.
And so you're missing out on other essential or non-essential amino acids. And so to create complete proteins, you need complete amino acid sequences.
Okay.
Red meat happens to be very, very high on that. So
it.
also, I mean, we could go into like high in natural creatine. Creatine is actually, it's not just a performance enhancer. I know people think creatine muscle
Right.
strength.
Yeah, that just like I hear it and I'm like,
Yeah, you're like, but
can I
then-
cook with it? No.
Right. But then when you like look into things that are naturally high in creatine and you're elevating natural creatine stores in your body, you're actually fighting things like adrenal fatigue.
So what is naturally high in creatine? Because when I think
Red
of
meat
creatine,
is super
it is
naturally
because
high.
I think of the supplement
You
that you
think
take
creatine
and you.
monohydrate.
Yes,
Yep.
that's the only thing I think of.
So creatine's naturally occurring in our bodies,
Okay.
right? And so we always want to maximize our creatine stores. So when we start looking at what's really popular in Western culture right now, adrenal fatigue.
Okay.
I deal a lot with that with my nutrition clients. So people that are overworked, under-recovered, not sleeping enough, over-caffeinated.
I was gonna say, do you think caffeine?
Over-caffeinated.
Because
Yes.
whenever I start feeling like, oh, I'm drained, it's like I probably had too much caffeine
Yep.
today.
Yeah. And so I see, well, over abuse of stimulants, right? So even people that want to lose weight, fat
Sure.
burning pills,
Okay.
right? So any abuse of stimulants, and so things like red meat is going to boost that creatine store, which is going to help offset some of that.
Got it.
So
there's a
many
lot
natural
of good
benefits.
things
Yes.
in this flank steak. Now for me, because I don't know if we talked about this last time, how I was a vegetarian for 18 years.
Yes, we did.
And so I've been back in the meat world for about 6 years, and you know, red meats were like the last thing that I worked back
That's usually
in.
the standard transition that I see.
Just, you know, based on it's so meaty. Like when you think of like the meatiest meat, it's like red meat.
Yep.
And then for me, it's texture. So I tend to go towards braised meats
Okay.
when we're doing red meat. Like, you know, like a good steak is one thing. But for me, it's all about, I want it to be tender.
Got
and
it.
flank steak is so lean.
Yep.
There's, if you cook it wrong or if you overcook it,
can be
it's
super
very
tough.
Exactly.
Yes.
And so I have had a few recipes when I first started working with flank steak that turned out like, you know, too tough for my taste.
So my mom is notorious for cooking meats like through and through. Like she does not want.
I've done
she
that.
does not want meats
Yeah.
that are at all undercooked.
Right.
And so like when I first got into the whole like fitness space, and people were like, "You got to eat flank steak," and
Yeah.
I was like learning. my mom was still cooking for me.
Okay.
And that's really embarrassing to say. I can't believe I just admitted that on camera. But my mom still
We
cooked
don't
for me.
know how
Mom, I
old you
love
were.
you.
You
Oh,
could have been 12. He
Wow.
was very young.
Remember, my fitness journey started at 19. I'm outing
Okay,
myself.
there we go.
But my mom's awesome. She cooked for me. Like,
Okay.
it's just like that mother-son bond.
Yeah,
Like, I was a
I
mama's
love
boy.
it.
It's cool.
I
Publicly
love
admit
it.
it.
Yeah.
But she would make flank, and I'm like, how the hell am I supposed to eat this?
Yeah.
Like, it was so tough.
Do you remember how she prepared it?
Like, probably just in a skillet.
Okay.
But she makes everything a skillet.
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
don't know where she grew up, but that's how they did it.
Yeah, speaking of skillet, I'm going to turn ours on just to prepare.
Cool.
But this is a very interesting discussion about the flank steak.
Yeah.
And now you prepare flank steak a lot at home.
So I make it a ton for our family.
Okay.
And I was telling you off camera, it passes the kid test.
Yes.
And that's where, like,
that's super important.
it
The
is.
kids
Like, when
have
you
to
got
eat it.
family, the kids have to be able to eat
Yes.
it. And, like, so many people, when they talk about nutrition, they're like, well, I feel like I need to eat something, and the kids are going to want to eat something else.
I so disagree with that.
Yeah,
way
and I don't like that.
Yeah.
And so, like, one of the things we touched on last time, and, when I made it back to the hotel with the salmon, like, the kids were ready to eat it up.
Nice.
And that's what we were talking about,
Exactly.
Our girl absolutely loves salmon. Our boys, like we were saying the other night, like, we just made, grilled chicken, rice, and green beans. They love, like, quality tasting foods that are healthy.
Sure, that's
and so it's a
simple.
great opportunity to educate
Yeah.
on, like, the simplicity and the whole, like, eating whole foods, not
Right.
processed stuff.
Real food.
But then stuff that tastes good to them.
Yes, it
and
has
I think
to
that
taste
both
good.
are really
Yes.
important.
So when you do flank steak, you were telling me that you grill it.
Yes, I grill it. So I marinate it for as long as I can. Like, we'll usually take it out in the morning. I'll
Okay.
throw, and I just use like Worcestershire and like some Dales. Like, really
Okay.
easy. I use like some like Montreal steak seasoning. I mean, I'm a simple dude.
Sure.
So, but we do that. Like, we marinate it all day. I throw 2 of them on the grill at night, and usually like medium rare.
Okay.
Everyone loves it.
Okay.
So
Now for me, and I think for a lot of women, a lot of moms out there, like, I don't want to go outside and turn the grill
No.
on. I don't like to grill. Like, if I can get into it, but not like a practical
absolutely.
weeknight
It's not
dinner.
gonna be a daily thing.
It's not going to be a daily thing. And, my husband's getting home like right when food needs to be ready.
Yeah.
So the recipe that we're doing today, for me, it takes away the 2 objections to flank steak, which was it makes it really tender. So we're not going to have that tough flank. And then number 2, I do it in my slow cooker, which is like literally the one that we're going to show you in a minute. I put it in last night before I went to bed, and it's perfectly tender and ready now.
Simple preparation.
It's so simple, and it's just so flavorful.
Even for the guys watching that are like, I don't want to cook. I
my
don't
gosh.
want to go to the grill. I
Yeah.
don't want to bake or,
Yeah.
skillet or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like, slow cooker is
Yeah.
everyone's best friend.
Oh man, are you guys using your slow cooker?
It's so funny. Like, we were just talking this morning, like texting with my fiance yesterday, and she's like, "Oh, I just put this in the slow cooker."
Yeah.
So it sounds like we're going to be using a lot of things in the
Oh.
slow cooker soon.
It almost feels like you're not even cooking, because it's like you're
Simple.
assembling it, you're putting it in, and then it's done. It's ready for you.
the best.
So let's get started
Let's do it.
on this flank, and then after we do our delicious flank steak, we are going to do dessert. So
I mean, no words. Dessert, enough said.
yes,
That's all we need.
Exactly. All right, so the first thing that I always do when I'm doing a piece of meat like this in the slow cooker is to sear it.
Okay.
So we want to get it like nice and brown.
And is that a texture thing, or?
It's for flavor.
Okay.
It's for flavor.
Cool.
And you'll see when you try the one that I did yesterday.
Awesome.
So I heated up the skillet, and we were just going to do, this is 2 pounds of extra lean flank.
Got it.
Do you have any advice on like choosing your meat or anything
So,
like that?
I always feel like you get what you pay for, meaning
Right.
I don't go to like, I don't know how I say this PC wise, but there's always like the cheaper supermarket, and
Right.
then there's like Whole Foods.
Yep.
And I'm not saying that you have to go and spend the money at Whole Foods.
Right.
But I also wouldn't buy your flank steak from Costco.
Right.
Right? Like, so whenever we're buying meats, we're always trying to buy, like, I personally like to buy from Whole Foods. I'm not saying I shop all my groceries there,
Right.
but I like to buy my meats from there, my produce from there, and then obviously the packaged stuff, I'll go to the cheap places.
Yes, so certain, like the protein, the
Yeah.
quality
Yeah.
things.
Food, yeah, the
you
quality
need,
it's
you need
different.
It.
I mean, you don't have to be organic, but
Right.
you definitely don't want like the last piece
The
of flank that they
cheapest,
cut
yeah,
off and
exactly.
they're like, hey, we're gonna sell it anyway.
Yeah. And not only does the taste differ, but the nutrition.
Well, like, I mean, even just like
nutrition
looking
and
at
the
it,
taste.
right? Like this is like not trimmed. Like this is straight out of the package, right?
Right.
And so like if you go and you get your super cheap cut of meat, you're gonna see it's like covered in fat.
Right.
And like the higher quality pieces, you can tell. Like flank is supposed to be a leaner cut.
Yeah.
And so the higher quality places you see, it's been trimmed. It's a really good quality cut. So and that was super fast, by the way. That was like what, a minute?
That I did, yes.
Yeah.
Between 1 and 4 minutes.
Okay.
I had the pan pretty hot.
Okay.
You know, and it's going in the slow cooker for 8 hours.
Awesome.
So it's not an issue of, you know, getting it cooked. It's
Yep.
an issue of just getting a little bit of a sear on it.
Got it. Okay.
Get a little bit of flavor. So
Cool.
going into the other ingredients, so this is a Cuban braised flank
Awesome.
steak, is just some of the flavors. So I have here, it's a green bell pepper and a red bell pepper.
Perfect.
And I just simply
Simple.
seeded it and sliced it. You could chop it.
Or if you're super lazy like me, they sell it like chopped
Oh, do
like
they?
that. Yeah, like so when you go to and I'm like notorious for this, like I don't even like to chop my own apples, so I buy like cut apples.
Doesn't it seem dry though when you buy the pre-cut ones?
So they've changed the packaging.
Oh, have they?
So
Okay.
it's like, it keeps all the moisture in.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah. And we're like, we take it out and we put it in like our own Tupperware really quick, so
Okay.
it keeps all the moisture in.
That's good.
But they do offer sliced bell peppers now as well, so.
There you go.
If you're lazy
easier.
like I
Even easier.
am,
Well, they sell grated cauliflower for like cauliflower rice.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
Trader Joe's
I didn't know
does.
that. Okay.
Yeah, so
There
there's
you
like
go.
no excuses. And actually, I was in a grocery store in New York State a couple months ago, and I walked through the produce section, and they had the veggie noodles. Like
Yes,
somebody in
those
the
are starting
produce
to come
department,
out.
like.
Yep. Yeah, so
Right.
you're starting to see that with like zucchini and other things
So it's-
because it's become such a popular item everywhere
Yeah.
that why wouldn't they?
And really, the objection is I don't have the time
Yeah.
to take this butternut
Yeah.
squash and turn it into
Yeah,
noodles.
I mean like
so.
chopping that takes 5 minutes max,
right.
but people are going to in their minds they're going to be like, well, it's 10 minutes or
Right,
15 minutes.
exactly.
And I don't have 10 minutes.
Yes.
Okay, well, buy it, pay $1
Right.
extra, have it pre-chopped, and there you go.
And the goal is to have this real whole food at the end of the day on the
And
table.
that's what matters.
And that's what matters. And if you didn't chop it, the grocery store did, it doesn't matter. You're
Doesn't
getting the
matter.
same end result.
It's still a whole food source, very
Exactly.
micronutrient dense,
Exactly.
and you're getting what you need.
You get all those flavors.
Love it.
All right, I'm gonna grab a plate, and
Cool.
then this is done searing.
So that was super quick. I mean,
Super quick.
love that.
Yes.
Shout out to Claude and Lisa who are watching. Left
Hi.
comments.
All right, we got
Hi,
some
Claude and
comments.
Lisa.
Hello, thank you for watching.
Yes.
Claude, wants to say that his wife is the one that does most of the barbecuing, so.
Oh, good for you.
Nice. That's awesome. So I'm putting a half a cup of some chicken broth.
Okay.
Just deglazing the pan because, we had some of that flavor that was there. We don't want to lose that. We want to
Interesting.
capture that and then put that into our slow cooker.
Oh.
So now I'm actually going to let you do a little bit of this,
Oh, okay.
assembling.
All right.
I've done the hard work.
You did all the hard work?
It's all chopped. It's all
So
measured.
this was not store-bought, this is chopped
No,
by
I chopped that
Diana.
last
Okay.
night.
All right.
Can
I'll
you
trust
tell?
you.
Look at
No, it's
Isn't
so
that nice?
perfectly cut. I'm gonna no, of course she did.
Okay, so what we're doing here is we're literally just going to combine everything
Okay.
in the slow cooker. So like I said, we have a red bell pepper and a
Okay.
green bell pepper. And, do whatever colors of bell pepper you want. And you can chop it however you want. And then here, it's 2 yellow onions. And
Okay,
they're just
I was gonna
sliced.
ask how much this was.
2 yellow
Okay.
onions. And really, these ingredients, not only are we going to have some tender veggies to go with the meat, but it gives so much flavor.
Yeah.
Like you're going to see that when we unveil our finished product, all the flavor that was just
Exciting.
permeated into the meat. So this is 2 medium-sized tomatoes, and for the most part, I seeded them.
Okay.
You don't have to, but I wanted to seed them. I didn't really want the little tomato seeds.
Got it.
Again, it's a preference thing. If you're doing it for speed, chop up
Don't
a tomato,
anymore, yeah,
leave the
just
seeds
go.
in there. It doesn't matter. I like things to look pretty, but it doesn't really matter.
It's all presentation.
So this is 2 tablespoons of minced garlic.
Okay.
And I actually get the pre-minced garlic. That is one, yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
That is one of the things that a few years ago, I just stopped doing garlic where you have to peel it and then mince it and it gets all stuck on your fingers. I drew a line. I'm like, you know what? They sell it at the store, pre-minced. It's garlic.
Doesn't change the quality.
It doesn't change the quality. It's just the ease.
And that's the thing. I think that a lot of people do look for shortcuts.
Yes.
And if you're gonna find the shortcut, make sure it's still a good solution.
Right.
like the peppers, like it's totally
Yeah.
fine to buy sliced peppers. Make sure
It's
you're still
still a
getting
pepper.
like not canned, like in some sort of
Right.
oil or whatever
Right,
it may be,
exactly.
right?
Yes, as long as the nutrients are there.
Yep.
Okay, so now we have some spices.
Awesome.
Now, these are like my Cuban spices. With any slow cooker recipe, you can play around with the spices.
so fun.
You can make it spicier. So this is smoked paprika, which I love paprika. There's smoked and then there's sweet. And it's just fun to play around with it. But with a recipe like this with red meat, I would always do smoked.
Okay.
Just gives that little smokiness. It's like a different layer of flavor.
Awesome.
This is dried oregano. And
Love
I
me
had
some oregano.
2 tablespoons of dried oregano.
How much paprika was it?
I think that was 1 tablespoon. We're gonna
Okay.
have the recipe link.
Got it.
So people can find it.
Posting it?
Perfect.
All right,
We're gonna
perfect,
post
so-
it. I measured it very late last night. So.
All right.
And this is a tablespoon of ground cumin.
Got
Which
it.
that is another one of my favorite spices
I do like
ever.
cumin.
It's so good. So you can see we're putting a lot of flavor into this.
A lot of flavor, not a lot of calories.
No, you're right.
So people that are like trying to fill in less macros or that
Yeah.
that have body composition goals.
Yep.
Perfect.
Okay, so we have a little bit of sea salt. I think
Okay.
it is 1 teaspoon
Okay.
of sea salt.
Pink Himalayan sea salt.
Pink Himalayan sea salt, which we talked about last
We
time.
did
The
talk about
importance
it.
of that.
Yeah, getting in your minerals there is just, it's so simple,
Yeah.
and staying hydrated is so,
Yes.
or staying like, keeping an adequate balance of sodium, right?
Okay.
And so people asked, last time I think somebody asked the question, like, can you take in too much salt?
Yes.
And the answer is no. Like your body will always regulate your sodium
Sure.
and potassium. And so it's fluctuations of sodium intake. So if you're somebody that regularly consumes a lot of sodium, don't just go cut it out one day or you'll find yourself
Right.
feeling very lethargic because you'll become very dehydrated.
And you were saying how you just keeping, your water intake kind of similar all
Yep.
the time, keeping it consistent.
Everything is consistency.
And
So, I'm a fan of always adding sea salt to your meals
Okay.
instead of trying to keep sodium intake low.
Gotcha.
I like the higher intakes because then when you eat out, it affects you
Yeah.
less and, your body regulates things a little better.
Does-
Plus, sodium's great for energy.
Does
too.
this apply to, the processed,
It does.
table
It
salt?
well,
that-
no. So I'm not a fan of adding table salt to everything, but it does apply to the sodium you're getting from
Okay.
the table salt. It's going to affect you less negatively,
Okay.
and that's why I'm such a fan of having the sea salt
Yes.
added because it's keeping your sodium potassium pump to where it's excreting the extra.
Gotcha. And
Yeah.
it tastes so good.
It does.
Like adding,
it adds such good flavor.
I literally in my office, I have a little salt,
It's the best.
the pink
I
Himalayan
love
salt. It's
coarse
like I put it on
ground
everything.
Sea salt.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's so good.
One of my favorites.
Okay, so this is just red pepper flakes.
Got it.
And this, I believe it's a teaspoon or half a
I
teaspoon.
think it's half. It looks like.
But
it looks
you-
like.
Yeah, I think you're right. It is half a teaspoon. But you can vary that. We can make it spicier.
To taste, right?
To taste, yes. All right, so I'm gonna give you a big spoon, and you are gonna mix that all up.
Alrighty.
We got our veggies and our seasoning in the slow cooker. Now, most slow cooker recipes call for quite a bit of liquid because, you need to have that liquid between the protein and the bottom of the slow cooker. Well, if you notice, all the veggies that we put in here have a ton of liquid in them. Now, we used half a cup of chicken broth, and that's it. All the other moisture is coming from these fresh veggies. And as we're gonna see when we unveil the finished product, there's a lot of moisture. Like there's a
I might
lot
have
of
taken
liquid.
a peek. It's pretty. Yeah,
Yes,
it's pretty
exactly.
Juicy.
Okay, so I'm just gonna pour this in and we can mix that up.
Uh-oh.
Whoopsies.
Love it.
And now all we're gonna do is add the seared flank steak in. And what I did last night, I was having so much fun. I was like burying it in the veggies. And
How
there's-
late was this?
It was late.
Okay.
It was late. So, okay.
So now you're like carving out a little hole.
I'm
We're gonna
carving
bury the
out a
steak.
little, yeah, and so you want some veggies under it, but
Okay.
then I also wanted some veggies on top of
Got
it.
it.
Because we want all that moisture and then also all that flavor to just soak in.
Got it.
And now we're gonna do the same on this side. This is so fun. And then we leave it and come back and it's like
So do you get your kids involved
amazing.
in like cooking with you?
Yes, and it's
Okay.
funny you asked
Because I
that.
feel like they would love this part of it. Like
Yes.
just getting their hands in there
Oh yeah,
and like doing
yes.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah, both of my kids are actually getting into cooking.
Into cooking? That's
yeah,
super cool.
they're about to be 10 and 12,
Okay.
and we're starting to write some recipes together
that's
and
rad.
do some
That's
experimenting.
cool.
And it's funny because half of what I do is I take photos of food.
Yeah.
It's like that's
Of course.
the whole nother side to it. And I have a
Have
little
to.
studio, and so they're getting really into that too.
Okay.
So it's like, okay,
Presentation?
like if I make it, can I take the photo of it? So that's
Can I
fun.
put it on the plate and make
Right?
it?
Yeah.
My niece was really into, like, I think she actually started culinary school. I don't think she finished, but she was really into it for a while.
Okay, so we cover it. And have you ever used a slow cooker? Just you?
I personally have not.
Oh my gosh! So
Nope.
this is your first
So this
time.
is my first time.
Okay, so this is kind of a funny one. This is my backup slow cooker.
So we secure it on.
Securing it on,
Got it.
and then we're gonna cook it for 8 hours on low.
Okay, as I say, so for dummies like me, are there settings on the slow cookers that we should be looking for?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So low and high.
Okay,
And
that's
basically,
so
it's
complicated.
very, very simple. Low or high.
Okay, I think even I can understand
Yes.
that. Even the nutrition guy
Yeah.
gets it.
And then it's so simple. Like, okay, this is a really easy one. You just literally like push the up button until we get to 8 hours.
Oh, okay, cool.
And
So
then
timer's on there.
This
There you
one I
go.
think just starts by itself.
Awesome.
And then the cool thing about slow cooker is when the cooking time is done, then it cooks over to warm.
Got
So
it.
now
So it
the
just keeps
heat
it
is
warm.
low, and this
Yeah.
is actually what's happened here. You can see for an hour and 12 minutes.
It's been
on low.
Oh, okay.
So it was
it'll
done
tell you
cooking.
how long, like, so we know it was done an hour and 12
An
minutes
hour
ago.
and 12 minutes ago,
Got
and
it.
it'll beep, and then it'll switch over. And actually,
Got
it
it.
should say keep warm. It's flashing keep
Got it.
warm. So, and I mean, every slow cooker is a little bit different.
Yeah.
But just speaking about the time, because maybe you don't want it to be 8 hours on
Yeah.
low, you want to do it quicker. So for the most part, you can change it to high and then cut the time in half.
Okay.
Especially like chicken,
Do
you
you
can
find that
easily
you
do.
still get like the same consistency?
That's the thing. With a meat like this,
Uh-huh.
I want it to be
As long as
slow
possible.
cooked.
Because it'll be super tender.
Exactly.
Got
But
it.
something like chicken, if you want it done quicker, you're not like about to head out for the whole day.
Got it.
Stick it on high, reduce the time.
Got it. And how would something like chicken compare to duration of steak? So steak, we're saying 8 hours. Like, would
8
you
hours
actually
on
do
low.
8 hours on chicken as well?
No, if you wanted to do chicken on low, it would be 6 hours.
Got it.
And honestly, it'd probably be done at about 5. But I actually did. I like doing that to have like shredded chicken.
Sure.
To do
Yeah,
in,
which
in
I
other
think is
recipes.
awesome. There's so many things you can do.
Oh yeah. And with chicken, you don't sear it. You throw it in there. You
toss
put
it
a
in.
little bit of broth,
Okay.
and then just season it.
So, I mean, the thing with chicken that what I get like the biggest complaint is so boring. It's
Yeah.
so like
Yeah.
rubbery the next day because fresh chicken's always really good, but then the
Yes.
next day like
Right.
leftovers.
Yes.
So I think doing it here creates
Oh.
something, and people are like,
Yes.
we talk all the time. Do your meal prep, and so doing
Exactly.
something like this for your meal prep really
Exactly.
helps.
Yes, I
So.
did that just the other day,
I love
and
it.
it's keeps in the fridge, and then
Love it.
shredded chicken you can put in so many recipes.
Sure.
You can throw it on salad. There's so many different things you can do. Okay, I feel like we need to reveal.
Let's do it. Let's reveal
Let's
it.
do the reveal here. Oh, and then since this is our Cuban theme, we
Okay.
have fresh lime. So this is
Where's the Corona? That's the Mexican theme. Oh wait, this is real healthy recipes.
yes, and it's like what 9 in the morning.
It's 9 in the morning here. Hey,
Yes.
I'm flying home.
All right.
Flying home today.
Okay.
We talked about turbulence. Like, I
You
need
know
that
what?
beer to relax.
All right, I'm gonna move it over here so that we can all see it. Oh my gosh, do you smell it?
Yeah.
It
I
smells
think everybody
so
does.
good. It's my kids when they woke up this morning. They came down. They're like, "It smells so good.
They're like, can I eat it now?
Smells like dinner." Okay.
So are you guys gonna eat this for dinner tonight?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, unless we eat it now.
We finished 4 pounds of flank steak. Like, we're doing something.
This, I think. Well, this is 2.
Okay.
Now, and you said how you typically will grill 4 at
I'll grill
4
2
pounds.
steaks. So usually the ones that we're getting at Whole Foods are like a
Oh
pound
my
and a
God,
half
look
each.
Look at how yummy that looks.
It looks delicious.
We're gonna put it here so everybody can
So they can see
it. Look at that.
Gosh.
And when I put this back in the fridge, I would definitely save some of this cooking juice.
Okay.
Yeah, just so it'll stay nice
I was
and
gonna ask.
tender.
Well, and it's cool. That, I mean, you could just drizzle some of that on top on
yeah.
the plate.
Oh yeah,
It's
and you got all these
amazing.
veggies, which are like
Amazing.
so good. That smell. So I just want to show how tender this is.
Somebody come
Like
up.
that is flank steak. Like look at how tender that is.
Yeah, you just pulled that apart with a fork. I mean,
Yeah.
that's insane.
Which-
and flank steak is not known for being like that.
This is the truth. If any
I'm a little in awe right now.
Right?
I'm not gonna lie.
You're
I'm
gonna
not gonna
you're
lie.
gonna go
Like,
home.
this
You're
is
gonna make this. Like
incredible.
this is gonna change your life. But yeah, for me, it's like if I'm gonna get a red meat, like I want a short rib.
Yeah.
And like you know, there's so much more fat in
Yeah.
short rib than in flank steak.
Yeah.
But this is why I like the short rib, because it's just tender. You can pull it apart. Like that is.
So I know my fiance is watching this right now. Like, we're totally doing this.
Look at this. And you saw how easy it was.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, babe, I got this one. We're good. We're good.
He's making dinner tonight.
I can do this one. It's good.
Awesome. All right, so we're gonna make some dessert.
Oh, now
I
we're
mean,
talking.
yeah.
So should I out myself as to like last
You
time?
need to explain
Okay.
the backstory
So
to this dessert.
the last time we left, Diana sent me home with these delicious peanut butter cups.
Yes.
And I was staying about an hour away over in Orange County, and I kept looking at them in the passenger seat, and in my head I was
were
like,
talking to you.
it's gonna melt, right? Or maybe it was justifying. I was like, they're gonna melt. And by the time I got back to the hotel, they might have been gone. Okay, well there was one left for my fiance to try, but I didn't tell them
You
how many I
saved
started
one.
with.
You
right?
saved one.
I think she only had one, but I might have eaten all the peanut butter cups.
Well, they're
So-
really good. In fact, if you want to reach into that cooler,
I will do that.
there are some. And these peanut butter cups are very different than like a
They're not Reese's.
They're not Reese's. They are a lot better as far as the sugar content. So, yes. Look familiar?
Yeah, they do. They're calling my name again.
Right? Yeah, so we have mini cupcake liners, and you can see how we have our peanut butter right there sandwiched between dark chocolate. Now, I don't know if we talked chocolate last time.
We did not.
Okay, and then I put sea salt on top, like the coarse sea salt.
That, truthfully,
This stuff.
that makes it.
It does.
It totally makes it.
It does. And I always talk about how salt makes sweet things taste sweeter.
Sweet and salty.
Right? Okay, so let's talk about chocolate.
Let's talk about it.
Are you familiar with lilies?
I'm not.
Okay, so lilies are sweetened with stevia.
Okay.
So I want you to just go ahead and look at the macros there.
60 chips. So, all right. I mean, pretty standard, like macros, I think, for chocolate.
Okay.
So,
As far as the sugars.
so the sugars are 0.
Yes.
That's the beautiful part.
Yes.
Right? And 4 grams of fiber.
Okay.
That's awesome.
And is that like a typical?
So most of the people that I work with, so we give them macro prescriptions, and people think of proteins, carbs, and fats
Okay.
as your macros.
Yeah.
And I think Cookie wants some chocolate.
Yes. Which chocolate is not good for
Chocolate's
dogs.
not good for dogs.
So-
feed the dog the steak, not
The
the chocolate.
steak, yes. It's getting her all riled up.
So we give them proteins, carbs, and fats, and we don't give them. She really wants chocolate, guys. I'm sorry.
There's squirrels taking over. So
Squirrels are
it's
taking over the
squirrel-
backyard.
Yes.
She gotta go to work.
Yeah.
She
so
just went on patrol.
we're interrupting her work today.
We are. That's
So
okay.
the sugars aren't necessarily considered one of the macros.
No. So we do proteins, carbs, and fats, and then the most overlooked macro is fiber.
Oh, okay.
And so it's not a macro per se, right? Like it's not a protein, carb, or fat.
Sure.
But you don't want to be getting all of your carbohydrates from sugars.
Okay.
And that's the most common thing I see. So
Okay.
we're like, people are like, well, I ate ice cream, that's my carbohydrate.
Got it.
Well, you're not getting enough fiber. Fiber has a
Right.
very high thermic effect. It's going to keep your GI health
Sure, yes,
intact.
that's important.
Which is massive. Like, as
Yeah.
all the research that's coming out right now, almost every piece of literature that's coming out right now relates to the health of your gut being like the health of your body, the health
Okay.
of your brain, the function of your body.
So having the
So-
healthy, like real food fiber to
Yes.
kind of like.
So having adequate
keep-
fiber is huge. So if I'm sitting here and I'm like, I get 4 grams of fiber from
Yeah.
this, that's pretty high
Yeah.
fiber content. To put that in perspective, I think that a half a cup of oatmeal has only 3 grams of fiber.
Wow.
Yes.
So this is huge.
So this is really big
That's
deal.
awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So in addition to having that
In addition
low
to
sugar,
tasting good.
and it tastes super good. Awesome. So this is a very simple recipe.
Okay.
In fact, this is going to be another one.
There's another one I can do.
This is going to be another one of Jason's specialties when he goes back
babe,
home.
we're 2 for 2.
Yes. So I like to melt. Have you ever melted chocolate?
No.
Okay. So melting chocolate can be tricky.
Okay.
And it's absolutely heartbreaking when you burn chocolate.
That would be heartbreaking.
Especially chocolate like this where,
Wasting
you know,
chocolate's never good.
No. And this, you know, I mean, this isn't the cheapest chocolate.
No.
Like we talked about quality ingredients. Like this is a quality ingredient. And so it's very important that you treat it
That we
well
do it right.
so that we
Gotta
don't
handle with
waste
care
it.
here.
Exactly. Do you want to hand me that bowl of chocolate?
I do.
Okay, perfect. So this is, I call this my lazy man double boiler.
Okay.
Because it's not an official double boiler, it's just a little skillet and then I put another little saucepan in it.
Got it.
But what we're doing is we're creating a barrier between the actual heat and the chocolate.
Okay.
Where it's gonna go.
Got
So
it.
I can say fairly confidently it's almost impossible to burn chocolate if you do it this way.
Oh.
So
I might be able to prove you wrong, but we won't test that theory today.
So for me,
We
like,
won't waste this.
Yeah, we're not wasting any chocolate. This is happening. So for me, like, I'm always doing a million things at once in the
Yes,
kitchen, or
yes.
even if it's like, okay, I'm making this, but I'm helping the kids with homework, or I'm, you know, there's always something happening.
It's just, it is what it is.
Yes, I don't like having things where it's like, if you don't watch it super closely, it's done.
Absolutely.
So it's just water in the skillet. I turned it on a little while ago, medium high. And again, you don't have to worry so much about how high it is. Whereas if we had the chocolate directly on the heat, it would have to be very, very low heat. So we're gonna pour our chocolate chips in here. And this is a full bag of the Lilies.
That was a full bag.
It was a full bag
Got
of the
it.
Lilies,
Okay.
yeah. And then we're gonna add some coconut oil.
Yum.
Yes.
So MCTs, amazing.
Okay.
Like coconut oil having medium chain triglycerides. I mean, I can't say enough about the health benefits that you're going to get there.
So
in fact,
the more the better. Should I just?
the more the better.
The more the better.
So the thing we have to remember with coconut oil is there was, you know, so many studies coming out, I don't know, like 4 or 5 months ago that are like, coconut oil burns fat. Well, in theory, MCT oils can help with fat loss.
Okay.
But remember, every gram of fat still has 9 calories. So regardless of how healthy it is, you're still taking in 9 calories per gram, which is more than double that of protein and carb.
So you need
So
to watch
you
your
need to
calories.
understand your portion control,
Sure.
and you know it's kind of one of the fundamental flaws of quality-only based diets, right? As people are like,
Gotcha.
oh, almond butter is
Right,
really healthy.
right.
They eat the whole jar.
Well,
you can't do that.
You know what? Funny story. Years ago, when I was just trying different diets and just going with them like full blown,
all in.
So I did the was it the what was it? Oh man, I forgot the name of it. But it's the one where it's like macrobiotic. Have you heard of the macrobiotic?
No.
So a lot of it is centered around brown rice.
Oh.
It's like there's a lot of soy and brown rice and veggies, a lot of veggies and stuff.
Sounds terrible.
But
Two really bad things that I rarely recommend: soy
this was like
and brown rice.
15 years ago, and I was like, oh my gosh, like this is it, like, and it's vegan, so it's like, okay, this is it. I never have to count calories again.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about portion size.
How'd that work out?
In 2 weeks, I gained 9 pounds.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, something's not working
Yeah.
here. Like I can't just okay, all these things are being supposedly healthy. And it's like, okay,
well, I always say there's two
portions
kinds
matter.
of paleo is the popular one now that everyone talks about. I always say there's 2 kinds of paleo dieters, and there's the one that's like, meat and veggies, and when you get to them, they're only eating like 800 calories a day. Okay. And like 800 calories is not enough for my mother.
No, that's very low.
And then there's the paleo dieter that's like, well, almond butter is paleo. Let me eat the whole jar.
Yes.
And that's probably not going to work for you.
Yeah,
either.
and dried fruit and handfuls of nuts.
Yeah, and then they're like eating 5,000-6,000 calories a day, and they wonder why they're not losing weight.
Yeah.
But it's paleo, so it's still and my fundamental belief that encompasses all of nutrition is it's like quantity here, and it has to be right. If you have any sort of goal, quantity has to live here. Right. But then the problem is right now everyone's living in the quantity space, and they're putting quality down here.
Got it.
It needs to be quantity with quality the half a centimeter below it. Right. Right. It's quantity. Right. Quality is 1A. Yeah. And I think when you're putting quality foods into a quantity-based prescription, the world's yours. You can literally do anything, and you can live. You can have longevity, you can have performance, you can have cosmetics, whatever it may be.
It's like people want it to be easy because if you think managing your portions and looking at numbers, that's work,
it is for sure. And I think that, and people get scared by that notion, right? I need to understand that. If you create the education there, you don't have to do it forever, right? You and I could look at a piece of steak and be like, that's about 3 to 4 ounces. Right.
Right.
If you're half an ounce off,
Yeah.
it's not going to kill you.
Yeah.
But if you've never seen what 3 ounces steak looks like,
the
and you pull the
education.
whole thing out of the crock pot, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, that's 3 ounces.
Yeah.
That's a big difference.
Right. Yes.
So,
Question?
Just a quick question about explaining your brown rice.
Yeah.
Like why, what's your beef with brown rice?
What's my beef with brown rice? So I actually find, so you gotta remember, most of the people I deal with are coming to me with some sort of dysfunction, whether it be like a gut dysbiosis, whether it be some sort of metabolic issue, and even if they're in a pursuit to like lose weight, brown rice has a fiber in it that's very difficult to digest. And I forget the name off the top of my head, but it's very difficult to digest. And when paired with other foods, it's actually broken down. You pretty much get the same thing out of it that you do out of white rice. White rice is much easier to digest.
So that's a misconception that brown rice is healthier than white rice.
Huge misconception.
Okay.
So people are like, oh, it's lower GI, right?
Yeah.
And that's always what's referenced.
Right.
So lower in the glycemic index,
Yeah.
which is correct.
Okay.
But aside from the macrobiotic diet, which I just learned about, how often do you just eat a bowl of brown rice?
Right.
You pair it with something.
Yes.
So the glycemic index
Right.
at that point is a moot point. Because really what you're getting is a glycemic load from
Of
the meal.
the whole thing,
right?
everything you're eating.
And even glycemic load in and of itself is flawed. And so now we're moving towards what's called insulin index.
Okay.
And they're kind of refining that. They really haven't perfected all the
is so
science around like what different
complicated.
foods do to you. Here's the reality, right? And this is the simplest way to make it. If you eat brown rice and you like the taste,
Yeah.
and it sits okay with you,
Yeah.
it doesn't give you any sort of GI discomfort, eat it.
Yeah.
If you eat white rice
and you're
you prefer, and you're portioning
you're
it, and you're not
portioning it,
only eating
yeah.
it with soy, and
Yeah.
don't do that. But if you're, if you eat white rice and you like the taste and
Sure.
you're portioning appropriately,
Yes.
and that doesn't give you any sort of, energy deficit, because that's the biggest concern with white
Sure.
rice is, any potential glycemic index or whatever, right? Too big of an insulin spike.
Sure.
If you're not getting tired after white rice,
Yeah.
then eat it.
Okay.
So.
And then there's cauliflower rice where
Then
you
there's
can eat
cauliflower
more.
rice where you can eat a
Eat
whole lot of
lot more.
volume.
And
So if
get
you're really
some
hungry,
fiber.
get some fiber, get some micronutrients. Because
See?
white rice and brown rice, very little
Yeah.
micronutrient base. So cauliflower rice, lots of vitamins and minerals.
Right.
So while we were having that really good discussion,
Yes.
you just melted some chocolate and did not burn it.
I did not burn
the way.
it. It's perfectly smooth with the coconut oil.
Love it.
So this is the perfect consistency. Now
If you had to guess on the coconut oil,
Yeah.
how much do you think you put in?
I think I put about a quarter cup.
Got it.
Yeah. But
So
if-
for like when I go
You
home
could
and I
do
do
less
this,
if you
like
wanted.
I'm trying to because I would clearly, I can't eyeball like you, 'cause
Yeah.
I've never done it.
Yeah.
Like I would measure out a quarter cup.
And really, with recipes like this where we're melting coconut oil with chocolate, you can do whatever ratio
Got it.
you want.
Got
It's
it.
not going to change anything. The coconut oil really helps us with this recipe because the temperature control.
Got it.
So when coconut oil is cold,
Okay.
it's hard.
Got it.
Which is why you found that when you took these in the car, they did start to melt.
Because they got warmer.
Because
it
they
broke
got
down.
warmer
Got
in the
it.
coconut oil.
Makes
so
sense.
these are a little temperamental in that way, but it makes it perfect to keep a big bag in the freezer.
So if you're potentially going to be in a warmer environment, maybe a little less coconut oil would
You
help.
could. You could.
Okay, cool.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Yes.
Or
And
you can follow the recipe, which I just posted the link for.
yes.
Or there's a recipe.
She said
in
there is a recipe, and I want to talk about that recipe because I am veering off of it a little bit
Ooh.
because I can't stick
Curveball.
to any recipe. But this is the recipe that's posted in that's published in my latest book, the recipe Hacker Confidential.
Love it.
And in that recipe, I used unsweetened chocolate.
Okay.
And then we sweetened it up with a little bit of raw honey, which I did pull out here.
Cool.
So I did put a little bit of raw honey with unsweetened chocolate and then some stevia.
Love it.
So you can play with that. If you don't find the stevia sweetened chocolate chips, you can go with just the unsweetened and then add whatever sweetness you want from there.
Love it.
And then also, because I'm veering from the recipe a little bit with the peanut butter part, we're going to use stevia today. So you could do a little bit of honey. I mean, we could talk about the macros of that.
Yeah.
Or you can play around with the sweetness and add whatever you want. But with the peanut butter, it's just adding a little bit of sweetness, adding a little bit of that salt
Love it.
for that middle layer, and then sticking it together. But, have fun with it. Mix it up.
Gotta have fun.
Whatever you have on hand, whatever,
I think that's kind of the cool thing is you get to, it's a recipe that allows for some individuality
Exactly.
and
Yes.
macro control if that's
Yeah.
your thing,
Yes,
right? Like if you
absolutely.
have more macros to play with, sweeten
Yeah.
it up. If you
Yeah.
don't, it's still gonna taste really good.
Exactly.
Love that.
Yes. Okay, so I'm going to do one of these, and then I'm going to let you do it, because
Oh,
this is the fun part.
That's scary.
So, yeah, just aiming for the bottom, and then the goal here is just to cover the bottom with some chocolate.
Got it.
We're gonna trade places.
Okay.
I'm gonna sip my coffee
You sip
because
yours,
it's
'cause I
been
already finished
established
mine.
that he's had 4 shots.
5.
5 shots
today.
of caffeine today.
5
and this
today.
is my little iced coffee that I'm starting. So
Ironically, people think like when I go and I say like, oh goodness. When I say I've had 5 shots of espresso, they're like, oh, that's so much. A shot of espresso has less than a cup of coffee.
Really?
Yes.
But how much does 5 shots have?
Well,
How many cups
less
of
than
coffee?
5 cups of coffee.
Now we're gonna move on to the math segment of this program.
Less than 5 cups of coffee. Wait, that adrenal fatigue I
See?
referenced earlier? That might be why I had it.
So you can see how fun this is, especially in the middle of the night,
In the middle of
which
the
is
night.
what I was doing last night. It's fun and therapeutic.
Is it therapeutic?
It is.
Is it?
So right now, the chocolate is melted. So what we're gonna do after this step is stick it in the freezer for 10 to 12 minutes.
Is that all it takes?
Yes,
Wow,
coconut
so
oil.
beautiful.
Coconut oil is amazing.
Hardens up real quick.
It
huh?
does, yeah.
Love it.
So I already have some that are already hardened. But yeah, that's the next step would be to do that. Stick it in the freezer, let that bottom layer harden up, and then we're gonna get our peanut butter mixture and put that on top of the hardened layer, and then we're gonna top it with more melted chocolate.
So question for you. So
Yes.
you said, we talked about kind of the quality of the chocolate chips.
Yes.
Where can somebody get them?
So these, gosh, you can get these at Sprouts, which is basically our version of Whole Foods here.
Sure.
You could definitely get it at Whole Foods,
Okay.
Mother's Market. I think they even sell them at Albertsons now. They
Oh, wow.
do, yeah.
Okay.
Like it's, I talked about this
So
in
it's
my
not
last
like
video.
it's not like a Trader Joe's only kind of thing. Because like on the East Coast, for instance, I live in D.C.,
Yeah.
Northern Virginia area. We don't have Trader Joe's.
Okay.
Or we do, but they're like few and far between.
Yeah.
Like it would be very inconvenient for me to go.
Yeah.
But we do have Whole Foods.
Beautiful.
We do have Fresh Market.
this in the freezer.
And so
Yeah.
just for the people out there.
Yes. Yeah, and then Amazon.
Oh, even better.
Everything is on Amazon.
Yeah, no, they own Whole Foods, so
Yeah, and I talked about this in my last video where I made some cookies made with quinoa
the best.
and these chocolate chips that I'm
Oh.
obsessed with. I feel like we need to trade places.
Okay, let's
like
do
this
it.
is like
Yeah.
I feel like trying to write with my left hand.
It's
Like,
awkward. I wouldn't be able to do it.
Yes. Okay, so now onto our middle layer.
Okay.
It's very simple. Do you have a peanut butter that you prefer or that you like, a brand?
So I'm weird. I love cashew butter.
Okay.
So I do cashew butter.
Do you make that yourself?
I go to Whole Foods and I do the fresh ground.
Oh, that's so
yes.
fun.
Yes.
I
So they have like
discovered
the
that,
like the
yeah.
machine with like all the cashews and it just comes out really slowly.
It's
I
like
kind of love it.
grinding your own coffee, but
It's the
grinding
best.
and then that's so fun. And it comes
Yeah.
out and it's all warm. Yeah, that's
So good.
fun.
So
Okay.
good. So I like the fresh ground cashew butter.
Very cool.
So I don't have a brand of peanut butter, but
This is a good one. This is a Santa Cruz organic.
Okay.
My husband's like a bit of
so you a peanut butter snob?
I wouldn't say snob. I would just say he's very passionate about
He's a peanut butter connoisseur.
He's a connoisseur.
Okay.
We've done the peanut butter of the month club
Have you?
for years.
No way.
Yes.
Is there that many peanut butters out there?
There are so
Wow.
many peanut butters out there.
Impressive.
Yeah, but you know what? At the end of the day, it's just peanuts and sea salt
Right.
is the best combination.
Right.
Like it doesn't get better
Well,
than
yeah,
that.
you would think so.
It doesn't get better than that. Okay, so this is for our filling.
Okay.
So at this point, we can either add a little bit of the raw honey
Okay.
or we can do a little bit of the stevia. Do you have a preference?
I don't.
Okay, then I'm just
Truthfully.
gonna do a little bit of this. Now, you're talking about if you
Which
have,
stevia do you use, by the way?
that's the Skinny Girl brand.
Okay, cool.
And then a little bit of, this is coarse sea salt. And I like to put a little bit in the
I like the
filling,
coarse.
right?
And then you do a little bit more on top as well.
On the top
Okay, cool.
is super important.
I like it.
Yeah. Anything with melted chocolate, I'm throwing sea
Little bit
salt
of
on
sea
it.
salt.
Like
Cool. That's
you
good-
can't
that's good
go
to know.
wrong. Yes, you cannot go wrong. And so this is real easy. We're just mixing it up. If you wanted to add more coconut oil, you could do it here.
Love it.
Like,
got it.
Pretty much anywhere in this recipe, add
That's
coconut
interesting.
oil
I
if you'd
wouldn't
like
have
to.
thought of that. That's
Oh
cool.
yeah, absolutely. Especially, usually it's just for a consistency thing.
Mm-hmm.
So if I had melted coconut oil right now and I wanted it to be a little more spreadable, I could do that.
Got it.
Now I think we have another little plate in there of some
Some that are done.
that are halfway done.
Halfway done. Oh, these are done.
Yes. Okay. Perfect. Look at what a good job you did.
Oh, see how quickly I turned that in?
Right? Okay, so from here, it's very simple. We're just gonna do a little bit of peanut butter.
Now, so again, the recipe's posted below,
Yes.
but for people that are wondering, like approximately how much peanut butter,
Oh, like a teaspoon? A little
peanut butter, that you totally put in.
Oh.
Yeah. How much total are we using?
Maybe a little more than half a cup.
Got it.
But yeah, the
It's in the
the
recipe.
recipe is measured and everything, and it's
And you
like
posted the link, right? So everybody can see the recipe. Got it.
Properly made. And again, the recipe that's posted has some honey.
Cool.
If you want to swap it out for stevia, go for it.
Save the carbs.
Yep. And the calories.
I love it. Yeah.
So when you
love
make
it.
this, you're gonna make it with cashew butter?
I might.
This would be awesome.
might.
Like you've
I
got
might
my
have
wheels
to.
spinning here.
Yeah,
Like
I might
should
have to try
probably try it
Probably
with the
cashew or almond butter.
Yeah.
Just because that's what we typically have. And I mean, the peanut butter, in full transparency, that we have at the house is for the kids.
Okay.
It's like Jif.
Okay.
So,
Have you
that's what they
tried
like.
sharing the
Yeah,
more? You don't want to mess with
they're the peanut butter snobs.
don't want to mess with their peanut butter.
Well, no, I've tried. They don't. They're the peanut butter snobs.
That's funny.
So, quick question here from Lisa. She was asking where you can get the book because you mentioned your book. So I've
Yes.
also posted a link where you can find
Perfect.
And that's the new one, the
Yes.
Recipe Hacker Confidential.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
So there will be a link for you. Good question. Okay, so here
Can I also give you like another super like gratuitous plug on here?
Okay.
Your dinner or the it's the dinner. Tell me what the monthly.
Oh, RHR Daily.
Yes.
Yes.
So that's massively helpful. So I get
Yes.
that email.
Yeah.
I believe it comes out once a week.
Okay.
Right, and it's like, here's your dinners.
Yeah.
Epic, right?
Yeah.
Like I know we talked about it last time. Really helps me
Yeah.
and the family. Like
Good.
it is the
Good.
best thing. So I'm gonna like gratuitously plug
Very
that for
cool.
you because
Yeah.
I'm telling you from a nutritionist standpoint that has kids,
Yes.
health wise,
Yes.
family eating wise, like it's a game changer. So
Yeah.
maybe you can post a link to that as well.
Yes.
But like I'm just telling you like real life application, it
That's
helps.
awesome.
It's
That's
awesome.
That was my whole motivation behind it
Yeah.
because I am a mom, I'm busy,
Yeah.
and I want to feed my family
Yep.
like healthy food every night.
Yep.
And so I had this like vision of like, well, what if there was a program where it's like
The biggest thing I
you know,
hear like in my line of work is it's just like they feel like there's this division between what they're doing and what their family's doing,
Sure.
and they want to blend that, they want to
Yes.
mix that, and I think
Yes.
that it's really like the solution that's helped bridge that gap.
Yeah.
That's what I love. So
Very good.
Yeah, I think it's awesome.
Awesome. Yeah, that's definitely my motivation is just helping people eat
Mm-hmm.
healthier just in a practical daily way. All right, I'm gonna.
So you put just like it's I think that originally in my head I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to like flatten out the peanut butter and
You
do all this. So
can't- it
there's
dep-
like just so that I don't know if people can actually see, there's like a scoop of peanut butter like in the
Yeah.
middle, and she's coating it with chocolate, which
Yeah.
is rad because that's even easier.
It
like in
is,
my
it
simplistic
is.
head, I'm like, oh, I
Yeah.
gotta flatten out the peanut butter and like.
Well,
I'm
in-
sure there's other simpleton minds out there like mine, and they're like, oh, that's really hard. This is so easy.
In full transparency, I did flatten these ones because
all right.
I like things to look pretty,
Yeah.
but
But you don't have to.
it doesn't have to.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to.
I kind of like the idea of like a peanut butter core.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like,
Or-
it's different. It's neat.
It is. So if you want to start sprinkling some salt on
Got
the
it.
top of these, and that is the final step, and then we're just going to stick it in the freezer. And it's just a really simple, wholesome dessert.
So, and like, really, like low calorie, you can, like, you get a lot of volume
Exactly.
for what you're doing.
Exactly.
And I think that's what, like everyone's like, well, you can have ice cream every night. Yes, like theoretically, you probably could,
Sure.
right? Like, you probably could within your macros still hit everything. Not saying it's the healthiest thing, but
Right.
you probably could. But you'd be
Right.
eating like 2 spoonfuls.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Sure.
and here it's like,
Yep.
well, I could eat like 6 or 7 peanut butter cups.
Right.
The volume
Yeah.
is so much better. The quality is so much better.
Exactly. And
So-
the taste is so much better. Oh my gosh, it
So-
tastes so good. And what I love about this is you can make a huge batch, throw them in like
it in
a
the
big
freezer, and
Ziploc
you're
bag,
golden.
and they will last for months.
You know what's like really interesting is like you could literally have people over and host, and you're like, oh, I could, put these out. I
Right.
guarantee you people would be like, these are
Oh, yeah.
amazing.
Yes.
They have no idea what they're eating.
Yep.
Is super healthy.
Yes. So I have a version of this where the filling, it's coconuts. So I took like flaked coconut.
you sent those
I
back
made,
with me
yes.
last time. The kids ate those up.
Yes.
So
I think
those I saved for them.
Okay,
I'm a
that's good.
peanut butter whore.
Yeah.
So not gonna lie, that's why I was
Yeah.
like, they were talking to me.
Yes.
So
Yeah. So there's a lot that you can do with it. And then I was thinking like doing the coconut one and adding some peppermint to make it like a peppermint
Ooh.
patty. I was thinking like holiday
could you
recipe.
do peppermint only? No coconut? Could we somehow add some
With-
peppermint? Could
with
we somehow
coconut
make
oil.
peppermint Yeah.
with coconut oil.
Yeah, can we
and
somehow
no
make
flake.
peppermint
Yes.
patties?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Okay, now speaking about desserts and holidays,
Oh.
Jason and I were talking because he's making another trip out to California in October.
Yep.
And we were just like, we should cook together again.
We have
What
to
should
cook.
we make? And he's like, can you do anything with pumpkin? Specifically pumpkin pie.
And the answer was, well, yes, I can do perhaps the best pumpkin
Yes.
pie ever.
Oh my gosh.
That starts with a whole pumpkin,
Yes.
which I'm like super excited to see because anytime we get to start with a pumpkin,
Yeah.
around Halloween time, that's exciting.
It's gonna be awesome.
I love pumpkin pie.
Yes,
Like,
me too.
So good. And so
Yeah.
I can't wait to see that.
It's going to be amazing. I'm really excited for that. And then Jason, just for my viewers,
Yeah.
like where can we find you?
Sure.
How can we learn more about you?
So, I mean, obviously, like we talked about, I do nutrition coaching for people all over the world. We have a staff of 10 nutritionists. It's just jasonphillipsnutrition.com. Phillips is with 2 L's. And yeah, I mean, anyone that reaches out, I'm always answering questions, but we would love to help.
You have so much knowledge and so much
I appreciate
passion,
that.
you know, and I love doing this with you because
It's so
I learned
fun.
so much.
It
you
just
know?
like, it takes for me, it's really exciting because it takes the boredom that I
Yes.
think people perceive our side to like
Sure.
be doing.
Yeah.
Like, I promise you, anyone that watches me eat throughout the day, it's not boring.
Yeah.
Like, I like to have fun with my food, but
Yeah.
I'm able to achieve my physical goals as well. And I
Right.
think that's important when you can mix the
That's
two.
what everybody wants.
That's it.
That's
like,
what everybody
there's
wants.
no
to do.
reason, like 1,000,000%, there's no reason you should feel like you're suffering when you're trying to eat for a certain goal.
Exactly. I love that. And so you
Awesome.
can help them define that goal,
Let's
and
do
then
it.
I can give them something
go.
tasty to go with those.
Teamwork.
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 So awesome. All right. Well, thank you again so
Thank
much
you
for being here.
having me out.
Next time, pumpkin
Pumpkin
pie.
pie. Yes.
We will post links, and then we're also going to post a link to Jason's website,
Cool.
so everybody
That's so
can
nice of
check
you.
him out. And thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll see you guys next time.
See you guys later.